Coach, thanks so much for joining us on the call today. If you just give us a rundown of how your open week went as you prepare for the game in the road trip Saturday to Houston, please.
Yeah, we've had a good open date, been able to prepare for a really, really good football team in Houston. And we're able to get a lot of people back, so we're happy about the fact that we're a lot healthier than we were a week ago. But just preparing for Houston, defensively, we kind of knew what we should expect, and had a great week of practice against their defense, and such a talented defensive front led by Ed Oliver, and then the defensive secondary. Just a lot of age and talent back there, and same thing in their linebacker core. If you look at this group, it's a lot of juniors and seniors, and then offensively, we had a good feel of where we were going to be at, and then the insertion of number 4 happened into their offense. So we got to go back to the drawing board a little bit more about how to defend him. But really, really good football team overall. We're looking forward to the challenge, ready to get on the road and we'll get us a big-time road victory.
We'll take questions for Coach Montgomery, please. Star 1 on your telephone keypad will put you in the queue, and the operator will introduce you. Again, Star 1 for questions for Coach Montgomery.
And we'll now take our first question from Ronnie Woodward with the Greenville Daily Reflector.
Hey, Coach, just looking at Houston a little bit, they've forced a lot of turnovers, and they've also given away a lot of turnovers, in the conference. Is there anything to attribute to that? Maybe is there an aggressive style or anything, just the way they play? Do you see any correlation there with what they do on offense and defense?
Well, I can't speak to, offense, and sometimes, there's been some, they've had some turnovers that have just been really, really unfortunate turnovers on offense where you wonder how in the world did that happen in some of these plays. Defensively, it's an aggressive mentality. I think they play the Grizzly front as well as anybody that we've played. But their Sam Backer and their wheels, they cause a lot of havoc because you don't know quite where they are. And they're in their defensive secondary. They got a lot of speed and talent, but Terrell Williams, his size and length causes problems. So sometimes it forces you to go places with the ball that you don't want to, and they get out to the ball carrier as well. So defensively, it's an aggressive nature. Offensively, some of it is kind of hard to put your finger on how they've had some of their turnovers. But all in all, I think you talk about the takeaways that they have. They've done a good job.
Okay, thanks, Scottie.
Yeah.
Coach, I'll ask the next one if I may. I always like to ask about the timing of the bye week, and certainly. With your team having gone 8 weeks in a row, is it a situation where you kind of needed the week off, or coming off what was probably your best 60-minute performance of the season, would you have preferred to kind of keep the thing rolling and had a game this past weekend?
No. We needed an open date. We probably needed an open date about 3 weeks back, 2 weeks back or so. We really needed it. We were leaking in a lot of spots, a lot of positions, not just people, but a lot of positions, and to be able to play great November football, we had to make we have to make a huge transition in our health, and I think that we were able to do that last week. So we really, really needed it, but we were also able to get some good work last week and keep the level of competition up. So there's a lot of competition that's going on in the building, which will help us when we get on the field.
Great, thanks. We've had a couple questions come in now, so you can take the next one, please.
And we'll take our next question from Joseph Duarte with the Houston Chronicle.
Good morning, Scottie.
Hey, how are you?
Good, thank you. Just curious, now that you've kind of, I guess, spent the part of the week preparing for Houston and diving into them, does it create more challenges now that they now have a third quarterback that they've used this week, and they can obviously go to any of the three for this week's game?
Yeah, I mean, it's very hard when you have, varying styles at quarterback, but it's extremely difficult when you got talented guys at all positions. Like for the most part, I watched the first half of the game, and I struggled because, I didn't know if it was game plan or if it was weather related that they made the decision that they made. Whatever it may be, they did a good job in making that decision, and I thought that was the right, decision to make. But it just causes you a lot of pain and grief because, last week we had a great week of work preparing against what we thought we were going to see. Probably a lot like South Florida, And then you get into the game and you get just a huge curveball from seeing inside zone to throwing the ball down the field to now all of a sudden you're seeing inside zone, some zone keep, some bubbles, a lot more perimeter game. and then quarterback counter. So those things are not easily it's not easily fit, and South Florida has some problems fitting it at times, and it's because they had practiced for a lot of other things, and just a good change-up for them.
And if I could also add, this is the first time you didn't play the Houston last year, and Ed Oliver, what you've seen on film of him, and just I know he's been hurt, but what he can do in terms of changing what offenses want to do.
Well, dominant. He makes it extremely hard for your center to be a part of any double teams. I think one of his best attributes outside of his physical ability is his mind, his brain. He's as good as anybody that I've seen on tape in the last couple of years of getting on cadence and being on the snap count. But the way he uses his hands, his leverage, he's just a very hard guy inside to work against. I really I liked him last year as a first-year player, and this year the maturity level, you can see it. He stays in his gap now a lot more, which causes you even more problems. And now he can put you in the gap and truly two-gap you. And he doesn't even have to do it in a lot of situations because they're not two-gapping in a lot of their situations. But really, really extremely talented guy. They did a good job recruiting. There's no question about it. But the development of him has been also a critical component to why he is a great player, not only in high school but in college. And then he'll be a great player in the National Football League. He'll be a guy that, be a Pro Bowler and continue to grow and work and because of his work ethic. But I like to judge those guys up front about, not only how hard they play, but how smart they play. Really, really smart football player.
Thank you. Have a safe trip this week.
Thanks a lot.
And we'll take our next question from Dan Tortora with wakeupcalldt.com.
Good morning, Coach. How are you today?
Doing well. How are you?
Doing well. Coming off of, the bye week, the opportunity to, actually work on getting some guys back healthy and whatnot, just what you could say your biggest takeaways were. I know you spoke on watching the Houston game, but from your team itself, what are some of those areas that maybe feeling a little bit better about coming off the bye week?
Our offensive front, we were able to practice together a lot, and John Spelsley being back at the center position now for 2 consecutive weeks. The best 2 weeks we've had are the weeks that he was able to play center for us. The rest of the time he wasn't ready or he's been hurt. So being able to get him back into the matchup really helps us in our offensive front. Also, the ability to bring Deontay Smith back into the center guard rotation really makes us stronger in our front. So we're happy about that. Our defensive secondary we'll get some help back, some guys back that we didn't have. So those are the 2 places that we feel better about. But overall, we feel a lot more confident in understanding, our scheme and just playing together a whole week and preparing and playing against each other. We're playing with a lot more practicing, I should say, with a lot more confidence now. And that confidence hopefully will directly lead right into us going down to Houston.
And since coming to East Carolina, just what you can say, when you have some time to reflect on yourself, just what you've learned the most about kind of yourself, how you've grown from the day that you walked into East Carolina to where you stand right now.
I think overall vision has gotten a lot better. Understanding, of course, you grow with understanding every day. You're willing to listen, and that's what we choose to do versus what we have to do. And toughness, I would say that you can transfer your toughness to any human that you're around as long as you know how to reach the different people that are around you. I think that, the one thing that I'll say about me, and I don't get a chance to talk about myself a lot, it's more about our football team, is that, my vision for this program continues to grow, and I'm really happy that I have the opportunity to build these young men and continue to work. But I've learned a lot about this conference, and there's one area in this conference that we've got to grow in, and that's our overall team speed. We're growing every single day with the development from our strength and conditioning staff, but we also got to grow in recruiting. I think that when we play teams that are bigger teams and run like we run, we do a really good job of executing schematically. So we've just got to continue to grow our team speed, but we also have to, and what I've learned about myself is now we've developed ways to overcome some of our lack of speed, which is a great thing as well.
Thanks, Coach. I appreciate your time.
Coach, thanks so much for joining us today. We look forward to hearing from you again next Monday.
Yep.